Good morning, Detroit. I'm glad you could join us today. We're here with our show, With My Own Eyes. We're very excited to be at the Historical Museum today in Detroit. We have the opportunity to talk to two very exciting people, Mr. Luther Keith and Mrs. Crystal Staffney, who have put together an unbelievable program for the city of Detroit called Arise Detroit. We are doing exactly what we said we would do. We are bringing to you the most exciting, positive things that are happening in Detroit. Right now, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Luther Keith, the Executive Director of Arise Detroit. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. We are very pleased to be here. We're going to talk a little bit, but I'd like you to explain why we're standing here in front of this large tree.
Thank you so much. Yes, we're here in front of the Arise Detroit Neighborhoods tree, and it's part of our Neighborhoods Rising exhibit here at the Detroit Historical Museum, which will be up to June 18th. And this whole exhibit is all about showing the best of Detroit, and I work with groups all over the city. And this tree has more than 400 names on it, and it represents all the churches, block clubs, community groups, foundations, and businesses that have partnered with the Rise Detroit over the last 10 years to be part of our annual Neighborhoods Day event, which will be this year, August the 5th. In neighborhoods all over the city. And what is impressive about it is the wide range of groups like the Grandmont Community Association, Grandmont Roselle Development Corporation, Hartford Village, Holistic Development Community Center, Hollywood Golf Institute, Holy Ghost Cathedral, Holy Ground Missionary Baptist Church, Lindale Gardens Community, Mac Alive, and you can go on and on and on about all the many groups that have been part of Neighborhoods Day. And what it really shows is how committed people in Detroit are to making a change, being part of the change. And so we simply want people to come down to the Historical Museum before June 18th, see this tree and all the other things, and be inspired.
Mr. Keith, this is wonderful. I've had an opportunity to walk around and take a look at the museum, and what's exciting about it is that it's real people. These are people that you see going to the store, walking up and down the street every day. What prompted you to do something on this type of scale?
Well, I have to be honest, I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, but at that time when this idea came to me, I was a columnist at the Detroit News, and I wrote a lot about how we can improve our community. And it occurred to me that we had lots of community organizations, but somehow we need to get a little more energy into the city and push the groups that are working so hard. So my thought was not to create another group to feed, clothe, or shelter, but a group that would support all the groups that do. So the mentoring program that has 5, how can we get them 10? The cleanup program is 10, how can we get them 20? The community development program that has 50 volunteers, how can we get them 100? So how can we get more energy, more boots on the ground and working to improve the city? And lo and behold, the Skillman Foundation funded this initial idea, which started us in 2006, and the people of Detroit have embraced the idea. I like to say Arise Detroit is not an idea whose time has come, it's an idea that the people want to come to, and that's what has made Arise Detroit.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. If you'd allow me, I'd like to speak to this young lady standing here,
my right arm,
who is
my right and left arm.
The Director of Operations, Mrs. Crystal Staffney. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about what operations means.
Well, what operations mean is handling the day-to-day operations for Arise Detroit as a whole. That could be anything from preparing for our board meetings, to working with our vendors, to cutting checks, to handling social media, assisting with internal and external communications, and planning for our different programs. Well, I was born and raised in the city of Detroit, so I love my city and I'm all about Detroit. But actually, I went to school initially to pursue a career in radio. So my bachelor's degree is in media arts and studies. And Luther Keith actually awarded me with my scholarship when I was a high school senior from the Detroit News and the Rosa Parks Foundation. Fast forward 15, 16 years later, I'm now his operations officer. But I actually, after getting my bachelor's degree, I went and pursued my master's years later. And after seeking and becoming a part of a few nonprofit organizations, I found out that I belong in the nonprofit world. I just have a passion for helping people and helping the community. So I'm glad to be a part of Arise Detroit.
If I may add, she's done a great job. You know, she brings a lot of youth, which we can always use. Right. And she's very knowledgeable, very savvy, a tremendous worker, and she's in the short time we've hired her in October. She's made a tremendous impact in terms of the quality of what we've been able to do here with Arise Detroit.
We want to mention again that at the Historical Museum, you need to come down and walk around and embrace and inhale the exhibit about Arise Detroit. Thank you.